And let's go. And we're back with another reaction. It is Lowmid, and it's your boy Nemo, along with my boy Rod Mill.
Gang.
And today we don't have Huey behind the camera. Today we got Rod behind the camera. And today we're back with Whole Lotta Red. Finally dropped Whole Lotta Red, Playboi Carti. First of all, let's give a little background on Playboi Carti.
So, I heard about him when his big hit Magnolia came out. You know what I'm saying? I think that was his first big hit. I've been knowing him ever since. Just recently found out he's from Fairburn, Georgia, too. So that's actually crazy, which is where I now live. So
I heard about Playboi Carti back in like 2015. When he was coming up in 2015, like on SoundCloud and stuff, I didn't fuck with him at all because I thought he was like not saying anything and like being too repetitive. But like then when he dropped his debut mixtape in like 2017, I gave it another fair shot and I was really liking it, I started messing with Playboi Carti ever since then, and then Die Lit came out, and that's when he became like one of my favorite artists. When Die Lit came out, people didn't really like it at first because, with Playboi Carti, he's one of those artists that you either hate him or you love him. So at first when Die Lit came out, people did not like it, but at the end of the year in 2018, that's when people were calling it the best album of the year because it just grew onto them, and that's how I feel like Whole Lotta Red is gonna be. And when Whole Lotta Red was announced back in like August, the hype was massive ever since then. And then when he had the Tyler the Creator feature, that's when Playboi Carti just like blew up, and he had the SZA feature and
Solange.
I mean not SZA, it's Solange, that's right. And
that's what you that's what you meant.
Playboi Carti was just being exposed to like bigger demographics, and
Yeah.
he was just being accepted as, this dude with the baby voice and whatever.
So I think it's probably one of the most anticipated albums, especially since I would say Astroworld. It was at that level of anticipation. With that kind of level of expectation, you have some things that you need to accomplish on that anticipated release, and we're about to get into whether he did that or not. So
Initial thoughts, man. This is a weird album. It's a weird album to listen through, especially like if you're not used to this sound, and I kind of am, but it's still kind of a weird album to get through because it's Playboi Carti trying this sound.
the album was okay.
Okay.
It was okay. It was aight. All the moments that were bad on this album, and I gotta keep it 100. The
Yeah,
parts that were
that's
cringeworthy was his vocals. The beats, for the most part, were really good. The beats were really creative, and I think that the parts that turned some people off to the album were caused by Playboi Carti himself, and that can't happen.
Yeah, he's trying out this new sound because, the baby voice sound kind of already got leaked out. So I kind of figured he was going to try something new. I just didn't know what direction he was going to go. Nobody really knew where he was going, and I think that's another one of the problems with this album. There was so much anticipation. The expectations were really high. I like the sound that he's going for, but it kind of feels like at some points he didn't really perfect it.
Mm-hmm.
But I can understand why somebody else would like be so turned off to it, because like in some point he's literally like stretching the limits of his voice, like he's scratching his voice a little bit, like he's being a true rock star, you know what I'm saying? So it's kind of off kilter, especially like in the first track Rockstar made, or in Jump Out the House. Definitely in Jump Out the House, he's definitely making those super weird noises, and to me, I fuck with that song because it's just so lit. But I can understand why somebody would hate it because it's just so repetitive and he's just making so many weird noises.
Yeah, I think that, you know what I'm saying, the placement of some of his ad-libs and the placement of some words on the track, he was kind of out of pocket, it seemed like, on some of these tracks. And some of the mixing, his voice was mixed louder than the beat, which made it sound a little bit more awkward. I don't know if that was intentional or not.
I don't know about that. I mean, the mixes were definitely intentional, but I don't know about his ad-libs being out of pocket, especially on that song.
Not on that song, but I feel like not his ad-libs, but maybe not his ad-libs, but just some of his actual lyrics seemed like they were just out of pocket a little bit. Like it was some beats where he wouldn't like be in the pocket as much as I feel like he could have with some of his flows that he chose. And then like I think the change of his tone of voice really kind of maybe caught some people off guard.
Yeah, he's kind of going with this like this teenage,
angry teenage,
this angry teenage yelping type of shit, which is kind of fine, kind of, but it's You know, it's all right.
It works for some of the beats. And I think that I don't think there was more. There wasn't a lot of features on the album either, was there? There wasn't like
no, there was only like, 3 features.
There was like 3 features.
And they're all top tier features now.
I will say that those were some of the better songs on the album.
Wait, but I was about to ask, what do you think of the features on here?
So let's go ahead and just say them. So I think the first feature was Kanye. I liked Kanye's verse on that song, but I was like, the song as a whole, it kind of seemed like it was Kanye featuring Playboi Carti. Like by the time the song was over, because Kanye's verse just kind of took over half the song.
That should have gone on Kanye's record.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
That shit would have been a dope Kanye record.
You know, and I think that beat actually sounds like what Kanye might have actually produced himself on the album.
It was Wheezy.
Yeah, you know what it was Wheezy on that beat?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, that shit was tight. And I think Future, I might have been skipping somebody. I think Future was the next one. Oh yeah, Kid Cudi definitely I thought was the better half of that song.
It took me off guard because of Carti. Like, I don't know. For me, I'm not really a Kid Cudi fan at the slightest, but I really enjoyed Kid Cudi's verse. That's what saved it for me.
Yeah.
But you know, listening to it over and over, just when those hums, the Kid Cudi hums comes in, it's just fire as fuck, bro. And then the Carti ad-libs, it just, oh my god, throw that shit on top of there. That shit was fire. It's a dope feeling, but I don't know if I'm gonna return to it too much. After just hearing Carti saying, "Oh, I feel like God," I didn't really fuck with that. That's another thing too. The lyrics on here, this is interesting for Carti, because like Carti, he's the type of artist, like he doesn't really give you true bars. He just gives you enough bars that are enough for a vibe.
Yeah.
On this record, he's actually like trying to go in just a little bit, and I fought with that. Like, remember when he said like, "I'm actually rapping this time"? Remember I told you?
Yeah.
He's
and
actually kind of rapping
by his standard.
To his standard, you know what I'm saying? like keep in mind, like he's still like he's Carti, like, you know, but to his standard, like just hearing him like be even a little bit personal is like kind of groundbreaking a little bit for Carti, kind of.
Yeah, he's not really the most introspective rapper, but I did want that from him on this album. I did want to see him try more of a traditional style of rapping, a little bit more. But like you said, it's Playboi Carti, and we expect not lyrics or not bars or necessarily good or like, what's the word, conscious lyrical content or whatever, but we expect the vibe, and what he does well. But still, even with some of the placement of the bars and just like you said, the lyrics and what he was actually saying, it just kind of felt like, you know what I'm saying, this feels a little bit forced at times, you know what I'm saying? And that's just how I felt about it. That's how it sounded to me. But on some of those beats, he still, like, the flow was still nice on some of those beats. With that being said, what did you think about the 24 tracks?
Okay, the 24 tracks. Yeah, looking at it, I was like, damn, why is there so many tracks on here? But like, then you got to think again, like, he hasn't dropped in 2.5 years, so I kind of understand why it's just not the 24 tracks I was expecting from him. But,
yeah.
But you know, with the 24 tracks we got, you know, it didn't feel too long to get through, surprisingly, unlike Trippie Redd's album. We'll talk about that later. But now the 24 track, yeah, I mean, there's definitely like a couple that could have been taken off. It is a little bit too long, but it's whatever. I mean, I'm glad we got a lot of Carti songs, though, I guess.
Yeah.
Bro, I hope Carti is okay, because like, you know, on this record, like I said, this is the most personal that Carti has ever gotten. On this record, he's even talking about like he just wanted to be like his brother, but then that nigga died.
Yeah.
And you know, his brother was a thug. He was a real thug or whatever. He just wanted to be like him, but then his brother died, and now all he's thinking about is murder and shit. Like, this nigga literally has a song, "When I go to sleep, I think about murder." Like, damn, nigga, like,
yeah.
Like, damn, nigga.
I think that him being sincere and being a little more introspective was cool, but actually what his lyrics are talking about, you know what I'm saying? He has lyrics about a lot of drug use and a lot about him being like on a lot of, you know, heavy drugs, as a lot of songs do nowadays. I think that concerns me a little bit, just because like, you know, we should all take that a little more seriously now with all these recent deaths of these young rappers due to all these drugs. So I did pay attention to that and say like, damn, like I hope he's okay. To your point, like, is Carti okay? It sounds like he's in a lot of pain, actually. It sounds like he's going through a lot of shit. It seemed like it was a lot of anger in this project, but then also like a lot of like, what's the word I'm looking for? Kind of sorrow in some moments of this project. And I did pay attention to that because I want people to like actually come out of this album thinking about like, oh shit, like, you know what I'm saying, bro? Are you good? You know what I'm saying? Like, are you good?
What do you think of the record with Future?
I like that song a lot. I like that song a lot.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, I think that song was like kind of what I wanted to hear more of. Like that song sounded like it could have been on Die Lit to me.
Oh, for real? Honestly,
Yeah.
bro, I thought you were gonna tear that record up because like literally everybody I know hates that record, but like I really love. I fuck with that record. Like on that record and on New Tank, he kind of sounds like a little bits and pieces of Future. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and with Future's voice on it was kind of surprising at first because I haven't heard Future use that high pitch Future voice in a minute
A long time.
or a long time, like probably since like, you know what I'm saying, astronaut status or something. You feel me?
Yeah.
Like back in the day. But it worked well for the record. He just matched Carti's vibe on that record, and
Yeah.
I thought the beat was good. I thought that that drum pattern was nice, and that hop, like whatever sound that is, it just sounded good. It just sounded catchy.
That song is just such a beautiful mess. You know what I'm saying? It's like the auto tune is like off key sometimes, but like it's just a vibe. So I can understand why people would hate it, but that song's a vibe to me.
And the beats are the main reason why I listen to the album for the most part. I liked Kid Cudi's verse on Metamorphosis. I think that's the name of the song. Those songs that had a lot of bass, I think was the best Playboi probably sounded on the track. The track that had a lot of bass, like what was the third song?
Stop Breathing.
Stop Breathing. When that song
I
first
fuck
came
with
on,
that one.
when that song first came on, I was like, okay, this the shit that we want to hear. Like this
Like,
is
that's actually like some new shit. Like,
you know?
I was surprised that he went to that route, and like the little synth in the background, that shit sounds like some 2007 Atlanta shit or something.
Yeah, and some of these other sounds on some of these other instrumentals, like we'll get into it in more detail in a little bit, but Vamp Anthem, and a couple of these other kinds of sounds, man. This shit was, I would say, this shit was creative as far as the production.
He whipped out the Dracula sample. Like, I feel like Huey would love that beat.
I feel like he would too. Huey would love that shit. Huey, you would love that.
It's like, that's the best way you could flip that sample, to be honest.
Yeah, bro. So it sounded good to me. So like, as a producer, real fast, like, what would you say were your, like, what surprised you the most about the production, and what songs kind of met your expectations?
Well, the main thing that surprised me was the fucking lack of Pierre Bourne on here. Like, what? Only two beats, only two Pierre Bourne tracks, and Playboi Carti sound is. This man blew up off of Pierre Bourne, so like, not getting Pierre Bourne was kind of disappointing. But the producers he did choose on here are fire as fuck though, so I'll give him that. They just don't have the same swag as Pierre Bourne. That's all I'm gonna say. But now, speaking positively of the producers, they did have some really interesting synths and shit. I just didn't really like the way they were mixed. Some of the synths were a little bit too loud. That's just me nitpicking as a producer.
Mm-hmm.
But overall, like, I really do like the beats on here. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like weird for Carti to go in this direction with the production, but you know, it's still like typical Carti, I guess, or what you would expect from Carti as far as like the synths and shit.
Probably wouldn't have got through 24 songs if the production was really bad, but the fact that it was on point for the most part, solid beat picking from Carti.
For real?
Solid beat picking. I think that the only problem with some of the beats was what Carti did on them. The beats themselves, for the most part, I don't think were bad. I mean, obviously, some of them weren't, all that, but for the most part, I thought that what I liked most about the songs that I liked was the beats.
Interesting, because some of these beats sound like they belong to Uzi or a different SoundCloud nigga, but yeah, I do like that Carti got on these beats. Oh, especially the beat for Over.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like what he did with that one.
I like the beat he said for Over too, like, because that was a snippet that I think he dropped. Wasn't that the snippet one?
Yeah, that was a snippet.
I like Over a lot too.
Nemo!
Our favorite tracks.
Well, how many favorite tracks do you have? How many did you add out of the 24?
Honestly, I added 15 out of 24. At first, I fucked with 10, but after listening, I ended up adding 15. I could probably listen to the whole album again through on like one really bored day. Because, at first listen, this is a weird album, but Carti is just so catchy that you'll catch on eventually. That's how Die Lit was.
My favorite songs, I'm gonna go with "Go to the Moon" with Kanye, "Stop Breathing," "Jump Out the House," "Metamorphosis" featuring Kid Cudi. Wrote that shit. That shit was fire. "Slayer," "No Sleep," Teen X with Future, Vamp Anthem, New Neon, Over, and Die for God are my favorite tracks.
My favorite tracks are Rockstar Made, Stop Breathing, New Tank, King Vamp, Sky, Over, I Love You, I Hate You, and that's about it. Yeah.
You like the intro? See, okay, this is where this is
Bro, how could you not like the intro?
Bro.
The intro was hard.
Bruh.
You can't say the intro was hard.
Bruh, it was
Never
not.
too much.
Nah, it just, like I said, it sounded just a bit like no, like it was the Rockstar Made.
Bruh.
Rockstar Made. It just sounded weird over that beat,
the way he
bruh.
said it was fire as fuck. He made his voice all raspy and like, bro, this the loudest mix that we've ever heard from Carti. Usually like they mix him like into the beat, but for some reason on this album, the entire album, or like for the Rockstar tracks, he's literally like the loudest thing. So that's very interesting.
I feel like that beat was a little too, I don't know, it was missed. I feel like if it would have been a little more faster with him doing that, I don't know, it just kind of felt like it was just like he was just like Rockstar Made, and then the beat was kind of just boring, and it was like Rockstar Made, and I was just kind of like, this sounds a little bit awkward to me. But that's just me though. That's just me though. You feel me? That's just me. That's just me. But hey, shit. So what were the tracks that you thought were bad?
I didn't like Meh.
Oh yeah, that
song
was
was
single he
Meh.
released, right?
Nah, he released a single called Abmeh, which I thought was ass.
Oh, okay.
And then on this song, and on this album, we got Meh, which I thought was Abmeh, but it's not. It's some other shit. And I like the beat, but he was doing well until the second verse. The second verse was hot garbage. That sounds like a throwaway, bro. To be honest.
So Meh was the only one that you truly disliked?
The other one I didn't really fuck with was On That Time, I guess. And the only thing I didn't like about No Sleep was the chorus.
Oh yeah, I feel you. I like the beat. I really fuck with the beat on that song. So do you think that now that this album's come out, after all the anticipation and everything, it's finally here, do you think that this helped him or hurt him more?
I feel like all this talk is gonna help him. This is gonna be his highest sold album, and in the grand scheme of things, we're just gonna look at this as another Playboi Carti album. But each album he does, he has a different sound. Each year he sounds different. You can tell like he's a true artist with the way he approaches the shit.
Yeah, he said it was his best work, and a lot of people have said he was wrong about that. It's a lot of people that don't like the album. I feel like because of the hype around it, that definitely, played a part in the perception of the album.
My favorite beats are Jump Out the House, King Vamp, I Love You, I Hate You, and Feel Like Dying. And I guess Control too. Now the thing with King Vamp, the reason why I fought with King Vamp, the way he orchestrates the build up, like, he's got all these ad-libs going left and right and shit, and then boom, it's like a classic Pierre 808.
Yeah.
And then he just comes in with the ad-libs, and then it just gets you lit the way
it gets you lit. It gets you lit. That's the whole point of Playboi Carti songs.
And then I Love You, I Hate You, that's a Pierre beat.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, Pierre is a monster with the sense. Man, we should have had more Pierre on here, but it's
somebody said, Pierre, why did you go back in? So y'all, Pierre, y'all know Pierre's tag. Pierre, you want to come out here? Somebody said, Pierre, come back out here.
I hope we get a lot of Pierre on the deluxe. I think all the leaks are gonna be on there too. So.
Oh yeah, well then shit. People said the leaks are better than the goddamn album.
For me, the quotables are kind of easy to pick out because it's Carti. Like, this man said, I just hit a lick in a mask, MF Doom. I wasn't expecting him to know about MF Doom.
Yeah, that's fine.
Also, I just brought me some thoughts. They thought I was gay. That shit was funny as fuck.
Yeah.
Hearing it on Instagram and then hearing it in the song was funny. They try to turn me into a white boy, but I'm not Lil Dicky. That's when that's the song where he's like kind of yelping out and shit. Interesting to hear. He was trying to sound Trippie Redd.
That quotable that you said, your first quotable, I think I had the same one. The one where he was like,
they thought I was gay.
Yeah. I was like, wow, like that's one way to fire back at people who said something untrue about you. I was surprised at that. Some of my other quotables, I really like some of the quotables are just kind of some of the hooks. I like the Jump Out the House hook. I actually do like his hook on that. I like the energy on that. I think he had another bar. I forgot the exact bar, but I'm paraphrasing. It was like something like, Like the bar that you said from earlier, he was like, I want to be like my brother, but my brother's dead or something like that. Yeah, like that really stood out to me because that's the most introspective I had ever heard him be.
Right.
That was like, and that is saying something, but that was the most like personal he's ever gotten on a record. I hope he gets better, bro, because he did not sound like he was in the best mental place in his album.
Yeah, could be that with the twist of the artistic approach.
Yeah.
I fuck with it.
All right, so after all that, I'm gonna give this album a 6 out of 10. I'm gonna give it a 6 because, like I said, I thought the beats were the best thing about the album. I thought that the beats carried the album. I thought that he got outperformed on the Cudi feature, and I won't say the future feature, but he was matched. And like I said, I think the parts that were weird and cringy about the album came from Playboi Carti himself. That can't happen on your album, bro.
Yeah, I can agree with you on that. I can't disagree. Rating this album was difficult for me because at the first listen, I thought this was a weak 5. But after listening to it so many times and letting the choruses grow on me, I'm going to go ahead and give this a weak 6. You know, this is not the strongest Carti project, but it's definitely an interesting twist for him. Very welcomed. Like, I'm so glad it wasn't boring. Those 24 songs, they weren't boring. That's what I appreciate. Carti, I'm glad you went this route. Was it worth the wait? I guess. I don't know. I would have preferred some of the leak songs.
Carti, you know what I'm saying? I think that you missed the mark on a few things on this album, but it wasn't horrible, but it could have been better. The beats were good. Playboi Carti could have been a little bit more tighter on some of the things that he was trying to do. I don't think this will kill his career. I still think he has one, but I do think that a lot of people were a little bit let down. And I hope that you get help if you really going through some shit, bro, because that ain't nothing to play with. I'm serious. Like, I hope that you straight.
It's Nemo from Lowmid. This has been the Playboi Carti Whole Lotta Red review. Thank you for sticking with us. Be sure to check us out on our Patreon for the exclusive content, and thank you for the feedback on the Future and Lil Uzi review.
Got more things to come out on the channel sooner than you guys think. Appreciate the support, y'all. Gang.